YouTube Ozzico in the Goat House is back with bold predictions for NFL Week 9 here, sent in by you guys through our Twitter. Picked out a few that caught my eye here. We're going to break them down. I'm going to see if they're realistic, how bold they are. Maybe they're piping hot. I don't know. We're going to find out. But follow our Twitter to get involved. Constant NFL action on that Twitter as well, talking during live games all throughout the season, pretty much every game. Instagram, podcast, Patreon. You can find those links in the description and comments. Trying to reach the 60K goal. We're pretty much there thanks to your support. If you're not subscribed, full NFL coverage, so it'll be worth it to subscribe to our notifications. That'd be much appreciated. That Patreon has a bunch of extra content. I think most of you know the drill, junior score predictions, my bets of the week, and plenty more. All that is, or most of that is up for this week already. If not, it will be very shortly, very soon here. But let's go to the first bold prediction from Kimchi. Garrett Gilbert will perform better than Ben DiNucci and Andy Dalton combined. Hashtag bold. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one because I can see it, just looking at the names, Garrett Gilbert, DiNucci, Dalton. Well, I mean, Dalton's probably the best one, but it didn't go so well. Didn't go so well for him. Looks like he might be washed up a bit. So I think it would be possible, but of course they're playing the Steelers, maybe the best defense, probably the best defense in football right now. I'm not going to call it piping. I'm just going to call it hot. It'd probably be more realistic than that. If they weren't playing the Steelers, but I think the Steelers are the factor there. The team that they're playing is the factor. But DiNucci, I don't know. Yeah, it might be more realistic than that because you would think it's not that, the way DiNucci played, the way Dalton played, forget the name, Andy Dalton, just how he played. It's not too tough of a task, actually. So, we might change it. A little realistic. It's hot, but it's a little realistic. I don't know. That's a good one. From Larry. Steelers get 3 defensive scores against the Cowboys. Scores though. They're going to get the turnovers. Are they going to get the scores? Are they going to get in the end zone on defense? That might look like it's pretty damn. It might. I'm same thing. I'm going to go real. It's hot. It's definitely hot. 3. No, we keep changing them. It's tough. 3 defensive scores. They have to get in the end zone 3 times. It's pretty damn hot. I got a little carried away there. It's pretty damn hot. They'll get those turnovers. Can they find the end zone? Possible. They'll get their opportunities. Yeah, well, I guess that kind of contradicts the first one. If Garrett Gilbert's turned the ball over that many times, where they can actually score 3, then. Yeah, I might have contradicted myself a little bit. We're going to move past it, though. We're going to forget about it. Dalton Kobe. Well, I didn't say anything was happening, I guess. Dalton Kobe, Adrian Peterson rushes for 250 and 3 touchdowns against his former team. I was waiting for somebody to give me an Adrian Peterson one because he's playing his former team, the Minnesota Vikings. But now obviously he's on the Lions. This one's going to be a little too piping, though. Wish we would have got something a little more real. I mean, the 3 touchdowns, the 250 is almost breaking his record that he had when he was with the Vikings. It'd be pretty wild. I could see them kind of getting Peterson going because he's playing the Vikings. He's got that motivation. The guy's probably not going to be stopped at some point during this game. He's going to have one of those. He did it last year when he was with Washington against the Vikings. One of those unstoppable runs. Might have multiple of them if they give him the chance to really getting going with DeAndre Swift makes sense. So it's kind of unknown what the Lions will do. This is just a bit much. He can get those 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns it's realistic. It's a little hot. It's a lot of touchdowns, especially when they got DeAndre Swift going. Moving on, Panda Killer 99. The Chargers lead all 3 quarters, but choke in the 4th to the Raiders. Yeah, this is warm, which is very realistic. We can expect this. We can expect this, especially against a potential high-powered offense in the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm almost expecting this one here. It's either this or the Raiders kind of have the lead. I don't really see any other outcome. So this is pretty realistic because it's the Chargers. It's what they do. Next, Snoop Dogg. Yeah, Tampa Tom throws at least 2 touchdowns to AB. It's tough to say. It's a good one because it's tough to say if Antonio Brown will be used that much. Will be kind of on a snap count, limited snap count. He's kind of a plug and play guy in my opinion, especially with Tom Brady, especially with Bruce Arians, familiar with both. I think this is pretty realistic. At least part me. I was deciding between warm and realistic, in it being kind of hot but realistic here. But at least two. I mean, it's definitely realistic. It's definitely one I can see. But it depends on how Godwin's playing. Because if Godwin's playing, then you got to kind of distribute, throughout the group there. So we'll see. But it's definitely an interesting one. Definitely something I'm looking forward to this week. See how much action Antonio Brown gets. Fake Derek Dietrich. Packers defense causes 4 turnovers tonight. Yeah, Thursday Night Football tonight. Packers versus Niners. Nick Mullins going to start at quarterback. We've seen him against the Eagles. Kind of costed the Niners with those bad turnovers. It's possible. Packers defense doesn't look too good, but they got some playmakers out there. They definitely got some playmakers that can create this, whether it's fumbles, interceptions, either. They can do it. It's possible. 4 is a bit much. If you would have said 3, I would have gave you one of these. I think 4 is we're going to give you one of these. It's hot. I think they'll create some turnovers. I won't rule it out, though. It's definitely, I didn't go piping, That could be the difference. The Niners have a shot to win this game, but you can't have these turnovers, which is very possible. Again, I think people will look at the Packers defense and be like, man, it's a bad defense. That's a good sign for us. And it's not necessarily bad. They just can't really stop the run. They're not the best at tackling, but they can make those impact plays. They get the pressure on the quarterback with the Smith bros, mainly Zadarius Smith, and then the guys in the back end, Jair Alexander. Even though Savage has his ups and his downs, but I think he could be a playmaker in the back end. Amos is their better safety, but Savage could be a playmaker, and the deep ball, or if the Niners try to unleash that, probably won't have too much of that action downfield unless they get way down, but we'll see. Next, from Jalen Knapp, Josh Allen will finally overcome his slump, throw 4 touchdowns, and still lose to the Seahawks. I'm kind of on board with this. I think it's very realistic. I think this is something that's going to happen because we've seen Josh Allen look like an MVP, look like the next Patrick Mahomes. The first few weeks, we're all getting a little too excited maybe. Then he goes on a little bit of a slump. It definitely could be much worse. He's not playing like terrible or anything. Really wouldn't even consider any close to bad or anything like that. But, yeah, a little bit of a slump there. Not much offense. The explosive plays, the variety of different plays, the big-time numbers, production really isn't there. So, yeah, saying a slump is kind of fair just because how good he was playing before that, which was MVP level, elite level. But going against Seattle defense, it's tough because Seattle defense looked like it got better last week. They're getting some guys back. Jamal Adams will be back in the mix, hopefully. So it depends on what Seattle defense shows up, but I do think Josh Allen gets going. So I do think 4 touchdowns a lot, but it's definitely doable. I think this is very realistic, and I picked the Seahawks to win, so I'm kind of on board with this. I'm definitely, and I had 4 touchdowns though. I had them scoring 27 points, so it's just shy there. But I do think it's pretty realistic. There should be an entertaining game to say the least. Trevor Robinson, Jake Luton plays a star-studded game and takes the starting job ahead of Gardner Minshew and could potentially keep that role throughout the season. I don't know about that, if he plays that great of a, star-studded game, but we'll kind of answer. We'll say he plays a pretty solid game, takes the starting job, and could keep that role for the season. I think this is warm, which is pretty realistic. I think I'm almost expecting it to happen. I think the Jaguars realize that Minshew really isn't the answer. He's decent, but, when you're looking for a quarterback, if you haven't found a great quarterback yet, keep looking. If you got a young guy on your team that you think you drafted him for a reason, he has some upside, try him out. So they're going to try him out right now. I think he has potential to look pretty solid against a Texans defense that's been very poor this year, and they had, McKinney goes down for the season. Now, some guys are popping up on the COVID list, I think, including Whitney Merciless. And you don't know what to expect from Luton. You don't know what to expect, really. Minshew kind of like fast, small ball, and then it could work. It's annoying to play against, and some teams start to adapt, and they start to figure out this is how we game plan for the Jags, and the Texans seen it already. And now they're kind of that's programmed in their mind. This might be different ball. Based on Lutton on Oregon State, I don't think they're anywhere near the same style quarterback, how they run the offense. But because that's been their offense, they may keep it the same. So that's kind of a tough one for the Texans. So I think Lutton plays a good game. I think he keeps the job. I think he loses, but I think he plays a pretty solid game. I think he keeps the job. Even if he plays a bad game, they may just keep going with him just to see, because you deserve more than one shot. We'll see, though. It's a pretty good one. Nevada and Titan. The Titans get 3 turnovers but 0 sacks. I think it's a pretty good one, too, because the Titans just have not been able to get to the quarterback, get sacks. You see them play Joe Burrow. This is their opportunity against that offensive line. Everyone's been getting after Joe Burrow, and they can't really do that. Now they release Vic Beasley because he's been extremely disappointing. But the Titans, we've seen them against the Bills and Josh Allen, remember. Yeah, once again, they weren't really getting sacks at all, but they were getting the turnovers. They do have some playmakers back there. Now they go against a Bears offense that's at the bottom of the NFL right there, towards the bottom. They're pretty one-dimensional, so it's easier to predict for a team like the Titans who are struggling on defense. Their offensive line is extremely beat up. But I think they'll game plan to get the ball out really quick, as they should. So I think they'll get pressure on those quick plays, but I think it's actually likely they get 0-1 sacks somewhere around there just because how fast the ball's coming out, but I still think they'll get pressure, which can help their playmakers out there and get turnovers. But I do think, I'm not going to say piping, I'm going to still say hot, because the Titans can do this, especially against the Bears, they can do this. I still think 3 turnovers is a bit much, and I do expect them to get maybe 1 sack, 2 sacks maybe. I want to see more blitzing from the Tennessee Titans. Rashaan Evans, Jayon Brown, these guys can blitz, and they were blitzing them in the past. So Vrabel's, I know they, missing some guy, Dean Pease was in there, but Vrabel's got to realize that those guys are pretty good blitzers, in my opinion, at least. Even David Long, guys like that, they can go get after the quarterback from the black. They got to do it against the Bears. The blitzes, I think, is how you really get the pressure, on the Bears. I think just normal pass rush. They like to rush 3 sometimes. Bears' offensive line isn't that bad where they're going to allow pressure there, but I'm banking on them blitzing a little bit for them to actually pick up their either one of these, sacks, or that can create turnovers, force Foles to hurry up with the ball. So that's definitely something. That's definitely a storyline I'm looking forward to in this game. So a lot to look forward this week. And that'll do it for the bold predictions. Thanks for playing along on Twitter. We have plenty of videos every single week like this where you guys get involved. We have other NFL coverage predicting every game every single week all year long, whether it's straight up scores. We got you. Power rankings, we got you. So please subscribe. Almost at 60K. Turn notifications on so you don't miss a thing. Smash that like button if you enjoyed. More videos on the way. We're at the halfway point, so some mid-season videos on the way within this week and next week as well. So hopefully you can join us for that. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.